Hello and welcome to Question Hour on Rajya Sabha TV, a show where we get you latest from the 250th session of Rajya Sabha, the latest questions and the answers given by the government. I'm Rajat Kain and I'm joined with my colleague Kriti Mishra.
Thank you so much, Rajat. So let's take our viewers through important questions and answers in this edition of Question Hour.
Well, first question of this edition of the show asked by member Kanta Kardam from Ministry of Defence. She sought to know the contribution of Defence Research and Development Organisation, that is DRDO, in development and upgradation of defence equipments of country during last 5 years.
In the response, the government says that Defence Research and Development Organisation, or the DRDO, develops systems, equipment for armed forces in various technology domains. Value of systems, products, technologies developed by DRDO and inducted into the services or in the process of induction stand over 2.75 lakh crore rupees, and this figure does not include strategic systems. The government further says that out of which a total of 45 different systems or equipment worth over 1,18,882.6 crore designed and developed by DRDO have been approved for induction into services during the last 5 years. These systems include various types of platforms, sonars, radars, software-defined radios, missile systems, gun systems, also munitions and bridging equipment. Moving on to the next question that has been asked by member Amar Patnaik, and this one pertains to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And the member has asked the government whether it has entered into an agreement with the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is also known as WIPO, for establishment of technology and innovation support centers across the country.
Replying to the query in affirmative, the government said a service-level agreement has been signed between erstwhile Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, now which is termed as Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and World Intellectual Property Organization, that is WIPO, Geneva, for establishing Technology and Innovation Support Center network in India on 3rd May 2017. The creation and expansion of TISC network is aligned to vision of Statement National IPR Policy 2016. The mandate of TISC inter alia includes creating awareness and capacity building on IPRs, providing search facilities to inventors, providing practical training and tools for the staff, conducting IP training programs, IP asset management, assistance in commercialization and strengthening technology transfer offices, and 6 TICS have been established and 9 more TICS have been approved. Well, moving on to the next question asked by member Vandana Chavan from Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, where we asked about details of funds allocated for construction of campus and infrastructural facilities for existing National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research and the progress of the construction of the campuses.
Again, the government has given a very comprehensive reply to this question asked by the member, and the government goes on to say that the government has set up 7 National Institutes of Pharmaceutical Education and Research at Mohali, which is in Punjab, Ahmedabad, Gujarat, Guwahati in Assam, Hyderabad in Telangana, Hajipur in Bihar, Kolkata in West Bengal, and Raebareli in Uttar Pradesh. Now, these institutions, particularly the one in Mohali, has its own permanent campus, well-equipped labs, are also regular facilities. A consolidated EFS proposal for setting up or equipping the other 6 existing institutions and 4 newly announced institutions at Madurai, Tamil Nadu, and in the states of Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Maharashtra was considered by the Expenditure Finance Committee in the Ministry of Finance on 26th of March 2018. The committee recommended continuation and strengthening of 6 existing institutions during the period 2017-18 to 2019-20 at a total cost of 959.53 crore rupees, out of which 207.76 crore was approved for construction for campuses and also for equipment and machinery. During the EFC period, only about half of the funds allocated have been released by the Ministry of Finance. Presently, more than 80% of the construction of the regular campus of the institutions, particularly the one in Guwahati, has been completed. The drawings of the institution in Ahmedabad have been finalized and other tender is issued. The construction of its campus would also start soon. And moving on to the next question that has been asked by member Ranjit Biswal, and this one is to the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. And the member has asked the government whether it has achieved the aims and objectives of the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Programme, and if so, the details thereof.
Well, giving a detailed reply, the government said the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise implements credit-linked capital subsidy, technology upgradation. The erstwhile National Manufacturing Competitive Programme has since been subsumed into this scheme. Now, this credit-linked capital subsidy, technology upgradation has 7 components and aimed at promotion of credit-linked capital subsidy, lean manufacturing, design improvement, zero defect, zero effect certification, support for incubators, awareness of intellectual property rights and digital empowerment of MSMEs. The scheme helps micro, small and medium enterprises in increasing their manufacturing competitiveness, quality of products and improvement in technology. Moving on, in replying to the query further, the government said appropriate measures are taken for imposing anti-dumping duty, countervailing duty and safeguard duty as deemed necessary from time to time in articles imported in India in such increased quantities and under such conditions so as to cause or threaten to cause serious injury to Indian domestic industry. Under the framework for revival and rehabilitation of micro, small and medium enterprises put in place by the RBI, banks have to identify incipient stress on MSME accounts and refer it to committees formed under the framework for suitable correction action plan, that is rectification, restructuring and recovery. Reserve Bank of India has come up with prudential framework for resolution of stressed assets, under which banks have put in place board-approved policies for resolution of stressed assets, including the timeline for the resolution. The next question, the last question of this edition of Question Hour, was asked by member Anil Desai from Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. And he asked about the number of dairy units that are working in the country.
In the response, the government says that as per the information received from Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, or the FSSAI, the number of dairy units that are working in the country are 4,861. Now, regular surveillance and monitoring and inspections are undertaken by state governments as well as union territories under the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006 to check compliance with the provisions of the FSS Act 2006 rules and regulations made thereunder. In case of any violation that is being observed during surveillance, sampling and inspections, penal actions have been initiated against the defaulting food business operators as per the provisions of the Act. The government further says that standards prescribed for milk and milk products under Food Safety and Standards, Food Products Standards and Food Additives Regulations 2011 are same for the government agencies as well as for the private players in the dairy sector.
Well, that's it in this edition of the show Question Hour. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV for the Hindi version of the show Prashn Kaal.